So while it does seem like Oscar Pistorius is sticking to his guns, he's reiterated the assertion that he made during the bail application, saying that he shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp, thinking that she was an intruder in the bathroom of his Pretoria home. Oscar Pistorius, as you would now know, has pleaded not guilty to all 4 charges that he's facing, 1 of murder and 3 others relating to the contravention of the Firearms Control Act. Well, it seems like Oscar Pistorius would definitely, through his team, want to bring to the court the fact that he thought that on that day somebody else was behind that door. But just to unpack a bit about what's been happening inside the court, and given the fact that the first witness has already taken the stand in the form of Michelle Berger. She was the first person to take the stand. We know that she is a lecturer at the University of Pretoria and lives at an estate that is close to that of Mr. Pistorius. I'm going to chat now to Karen van Eck, who specializes in litigation, including criminal law, and she'll unpack just a bit about what's been happening here. Karen, thank you very much for joining us. Is there any surprise to the fact that Oscar Pistorius pleaded not guilty to all 4 of these charges?
Not at all. I think had he pleaded guilty, we would have really been surprised. He has just elaborated again and confirmed what we thought he would do.
There's also the addition, we now have clarity on the additional charges, what we've been saying all along, that it relates to one incident at an upmarket restaurant, and the other relates to allegedly shooting through an open roof. You know, these charges, first of all, clarity on if Oscar Pistorius is found guilty on these 2 additional charges, which we now have clarity on, what sentences do they carry?
There's a possible sentence of 5 years per each of these charges, but usually these charges are suspended. We will see what happens here. They still need to prove that in any case.
And the one relating to murder?
Well, Oscar Pistorius can look at about 15 years for that charge if they prove that. We will see whether that will be after each other, or if it will go together.
All right, let's talk about the relevance of the first witness that was called. Is there any relevance at all to the fact that a witness that lives within close proximity to Oscar Pistorius is the first person to take the stand?
Well, they just want to give us an idea of the sequence of events of the evening. She mentioned that she heard a woman calling for help, then she heard a man calling for help, then she heard a woman calling for help again, and she mentioned that it reached a sort of a crescendo then, and then she heard the shots. She gave us a bit more on the shots. She said the first one was... she heard the first one, and then the proximity between the first and the second to the 4th one was longer. And what they wanted to do is just give us an idea of what the sequence of events were, so that they can start building on their case and the substantial or the surrounding events of the evening.
Right. I want to talk about the testimony of the former Chief Investigating Officer, Hilton Bertha. Will it have any bearing on this case? You'll recall during the bail application, basically he was torn apart inside during that bail application, where he conceded to the fact that he wasn't wearing the correct protective gear when he was on the scene.
Well, every witness that was examined in the bail application can now be again re-examined under cross-examination, and they can bring up everything that was said under the bail application. So if he says something different, that is something that they will be able to bring up on a cross-examination, and that maybe can make that we draw a negative inference from that.
Does it make Oscar Pistorius's a case any weaker or even stronger now that these charges have been added? Do you think that the addition of these charges would perhaps in the addition of these charges, it maybe would want to paint a picture of an athlete or Mr. Pistorius as somebody who has no regard for the rule of law, for example?
I definitely think that they are trying to put everything together, and they want to bring us an idea of what type of person he is by doing that. But I don't think it's going to complicate the charge of murder, which is the first and I believe the most important charge here. Yeah. At the end of the day, they still need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he had the intent to murder Reeva and that it wasn't in self-defense.
All right, thank you very much, Karen Van Eck, who's been with the SABC since this morning, giving some insight into this trial. She will be with us during later crossings here on SABC News, but the court is set to resume again at 10 to 2.